Welcome everybody to a secret episode 7 of the Dragon Reviewed, where we are going to be primarily focusing on the animated content which was released, not very well, but released alongside the Wheel of Time episode 188. You know, if you've been watching any of the other episodes of the Dragon Review by now, you know the three cohorts that are here. There's myself, Cam Clark, who's presenting that I am a book reader, fan of the series, and we've got Christine and Kyle Malone, who I've just been watching the show for the first time. They've never read the books, and this will be the first time that any of us have watched these animated sort of shorts. So only kind of 3 minutes a piece. Yeah. But I think what probably I would like to maybe even start off with is just talking about how badly designed the location of these are in terms of what I just don't get the why. So if I have an Xbox Series X, so I tend to watch my Amazon Prime.
One second, Cam. We kind of got to introduce all the other stuff before we can start talking the topic.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. So over to you.
I'll go. Yeah. I'll go ahead and take care of that, guys. Hey, if you notice, this is a brand new background that you have not seen on the Dragon Reviewed before, and that's because this is our last show that is going to be hosted on the LRM YouTube channel, because Genreverse Podcast Network now has its own YouTube channel. This video will also be up over there to help start building that back catalog. And yeah, today, Monday, is our big official launch for it, but the whole other, Wheel of Time, we got fans out there that have been following us for weeks. Thank you so much. Please do go over to the new channel and subscribe there, because next season starts spinning up, and you never know, there might be a season 2 preview ramp up hype episode before we get going into that. Of course, if you're listening to us on the Genreverse Podcast Network on your favorite app, follow. All the social media information is down below. I'm working on new graphics for things as quickly as I can, but yeah, it's been fun. It's exciting. Help us get that 1,000 subscribers and that 1,000-hour watch time, so I can start getting paid. No, it's not me. It's all goes to lrmonline.com, where you guys can go every day for all of your entertainment news, needs, and opinions. So yeah, Cam, I'm done now.
Oh, so I can
now you can talk about how awful Amazon did with placing this shit. I was getting
too ranty that I just couldn't stop myself there. Yeah. So, I mean, this really pissed me off, I have to say. As I was saying, I would like to sit on my TV and watch this in comfort, but no, Amazon says, no, you can't do that. Amazon says, you'll have to sit at your PC and watch this, or you'll have to watch this on your phone, because the only way to access these animated shorts is through a non-TV device. And you go into the X-ray part, so you have to go into an episode. To get them all, you have to go into the final episode, right? So you basically have to go into episode 8, press pause, go into the X-ray, and it shows you all this bonus content, which some of it's just like how we found the cast. Yeah. But then they've got these, 6 interesting animated shorts, which, they're not advertising anyway whatsoever. They're difficult to find. I just don't get it. I don't get what, and I know they're doing it with some other shows as well. Just could someone from Amazon come on, speak to us at lrmonline.com, please. I'll interview you. I just want to find out what is the purpose of this. I don't get it.
I don't know, man. I complained about I complain about Funimation all the time, because their apps on devices are just atrocious. Like, browser's about the only way that Funimation works consistently, and it's still not great. And the user interface for Prime is garbage, always has been. And what I don't get is Netflix, man. They got the UI down like to a T, and Disney Plus does pretty decent. There's a few annoying things about your recent watch and stuff like that, but overall, man, everyone else just sucks. Amazon, what the fuck?
Yeah, I do. It's one of the things I've always hated about Amazon, is when browsing, it's just a mess of not just what you subscribe to, but you know, my wife gets this other channel that you can get through it, and it shows you all that stuff separately and or mixed together.
Stuff like that you can get
it's
stars
just,
or
you know,
something with it.
Doesn't feel good to browse through sometimes, Amazon, I feel. So yeah, they could do with a new eye change, but I think what's annoyed me most about this is that I kind of get the feeling that they want people to watch this because this is stuff maybe they felt they couldn't go into enough detail on the show, where you can just talk about something like this in the books and it's an interesting passage to read. It's maybe not that interesting to keep going through member berries on the show, so I kind of feel like they want audiences to see this, so to hide them away like that just makes absolutely no sense to me. Why not just have them right at the end of the episode, there on the front page, you know, episode 1, there's animation 1, you know, and so on and so forth. But, well, you know, not episode, I know we get 1 to 3 dropped at once, and there was 1 animation for that, and then 5 following it. Anyway, I suppose we can't help that, but all I would say is if anyone from Amazon is watching this, 2 things. More episodes per season, we'll get to that in a minute. And secondly, just put these out front and stop hiding them away in some stupid X-ray menu.
Not under a sub menu. It should be a Wheel of Time or Origins video page specifically for these.
You know, highlight them. Hey, we made these. Why not watch it? If you're enjoying Wheel of Time, why not enjoy this animation? Anyway, what did we think of the actual animations themselves? Christine, I'll start with you. I mean, I'm not going to say go through them in order and just shout out the things that spoke to you, what you didn't. I don't know. Yeah,
because like even like when I saw them like on the thing, it was just like, okay, there's one. Click on it, and Kyle's like, no, there's an order, and it's like, but it's really not that important.
It's not that important to watch them in order. I didn't know if
they would be
exactly.
Or not,
that's why it's like, so I was like
stuck with it.
I don't know, like there wasn't like any kind of like numbering or anything, and then for me they kind of felt a little too short, and they were just kind of like rushing through the information. So like for example, they explained all the Aes Sedai, and it's like, I don't remember what the fuck you said. I'm gonna have to go back and watch. It's like you kind of like. Like so it's like they were
how it get into the edges, and you know, I suppose there's 2 episodes. There's the breaking, and then there's then Side Stone and the White Tower. Those 3 kind of all together build the picture of where we got from in the breaking to what kind of state we're in right now, and why the Aes Sedai White Tower was created, and why one of their things is to guard against men, blah 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 blah. So yeah, I totally get that. It's quite hard to follow, and it is a bit rushed.
I was like, let me just say it, and then it's like, wait, what? You know, and so it's like, I'm gonna have to go back and watch this again. So I did find that frustrating, because they did feel really quick and rushed. So, but they were interesting. They were all right, okay. I mean, I wasn't like, oh my god, this is great.
Blow me away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Are you?
I'm done.
It? Okay. I first off, I really enjoyed the art style. I kind of like the moving paintings style almost.
I like
that. I dug it. Stylized animation. We talk about this over on Anime-Versal Reviews a lot because, well, it's the only review show, only show we got here that covers nothing but animated stuff. So, but stylized is you know where you take something that's not normal, like taking animation, making it look like paintings or watercolors and making it move, you know, making it an animation is not normal. So think of that as stylized, as a very layman's basic term for it. But I liked it, and it worked. I would have loved even episode intros or outros that are, you know, a narration. Pages, some of these maybe pages from the prologue being, you know, done in this animation style, put in with the episodes themselves, or even a straight up Wheel of Time or Origins, you know, prologue or Origins season 1 episode, you know, that's like 10 to 11 minutes of stuff that anything would have worked in a very similar format to what they did if they put it with the episodes or made it where we could find it and knew it was connected. Like you recommend it. When I finished watching the first episode, it's like, boom, bitch, by the way, there's this. That would have been so much better than what they actually did. I just don't know what
their marketing people were honestly smoking when they come up with this. It's like, well, we'll have a secret hidden away. No one will be able to find it.
That's not how you make
some
money.
Shit on there. We won't tell anyone about it.
Yeah.
I think I really like the three that you talk about that kind of give you a little bit more understanding of how we got to kind of the world that we're in, even though the world we're in is very, very old itself. But I also like the Ogier one because it talks more. It shows them as
I like that.
Think them as like woodland dwarves, if you will, like almost like an elf and a dwarf actually, you know, did have babies, but they're all more like orcs or ogres. But it's a weird way that Jordan designed them, because I'm guessing the animation is probably closer to what you think of in your books or maybe even other artwork.
I mean, definitely, like in terms of the Ogier part, that's kind of where my head was when I was reading the books more than the kind of what we see Loyal and the show. Although he is supposed to be quite young in Ogier terms, to be fair, Loyal,
and they're doing a great job as far as practical effects with that. So I was cool with that. But it's cool to see Jordan kind of, you know, push back against some of the stereotypes in fantasy. Like you've got these crafty people that are in love with nature and don't really care for the stone that they are so good at working with, or at least this one character did. It was one of my favorites because it was just a good insight to just this one species that we barely see much of in this series, and it's kind of like, okay, well, first you all do speak that slow, so that's going to be painful, but yet I'm interested in your guys' story, so let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're almost sort of Treebeard like in some ways from talking in terms of, we'll get it, don't be hasty, you know, and they're very much, you know, very long-lived creatures that, you know, think of humans as being fleeting, very fast things, if you like. And yeah, they build fantastic things with stone, but they kind of, you know, we built that. You know, it lasted 1,000 years and then it fell apart. We don't care. You know, they're not, you know, deeply connected to what they build, and they are more happier, you know, as the kind of animation went into and their steadings. That was my favourite one as well, I think, because it almost kind of feel like that should have just been a story that Loyal told, kind of thing, in the show.
And like a narration before the episode started.
I
would have dug it.
Honestly, you know, you could have a cold open. I mean, I don't know. Or even you could have put it at the end instead of the titles at some point, just to kind of throw as a whammy. I don't know. But I kind of feel like that's important information. And the fact that they've done that in the animation kind of feels to me like, well, we're not going to explain Ogier too much until we have to later on. And really, that basic concept of what they are is laid out to you by Loyal, you know, in that first book. And there just was no time for that in the show. So it just feels like the show was missing that piece of information almost to me. And that's why I liked it. Any really just disliked? I don't want to go into Matt. Just talk about things until I've.
No, I'm good, man. You got more to talk on them, or
well,
we're gonna take
there
a
was
break
one
before season 2? Okay, go ahead.
Just that I didn't really care too much for was and it's funny to know why. It's difficult to explain why without kind of getting into spoiler details too much. But anyway, it was the Greatest Warder, right? And this kind of feels like it's not don't remember any of this from the book, so I think this is show made up for a start, right? But it kind of it's either referencing something that should happen in the books later on. I don't want to be any less vague than I'm being, right? Or it could be foreshadowing the fact that they're still going to do that later on. And without getting into it too much, I kind of hope it's the latter in terms of it's a bit of foreshadowing for we're going to go in a certain way later on, and not that, that's cut, from that story. I know that's really confusing and you can't understand but it's just that's why that one kind of stuck in my craw a little bit. So I'm interested to know what effect that one will have going forward. Other than that, I didn't particularly care for the Manhattan one because it just they already told us a story in the show, and I didn't feel it added anything else. It was like you could have used that time to talk about something else possibly. Anyway, I think we should possibly take a word from our sponsors before we go any
All
further.
right. Yeah, we'll come back and chat about some season 2 stuff. So take it away, Grow Generation person reading.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. The Grow Generation commercial team is armed with industry-leading professional consultants. Grow Generation's team will help you fully manage any size or scale project. They offer turnkey facility designs, cultivation room design, and on-site project consultation. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
There we go. They're playing.
It's fighting, or is it?
Yeah,
is it the children?
Animals.
Or
No,
both
well,
of them?
I mean,
Children and
both.
animals rolling
All
in the
three. We
boat.
got Saris, Keone, and Riza all sitting here. The two cats are underneath the computer desk, and the dog's got them cornered. Stop!
Got to be in the same room as you. That's just the way it is.
Anyways.
They could take that somewhere else.
So we didn't. I guess we just didn't think much about animation, but we kind of saw the potential of it and felt it was unrealized. Does that maybe speak for everybody? Yeah,
pretty much.
If they were going to do it again in season 2, do it kind of properly and advertise it and link it to the show. Okay, so this is more just kind of season 2. We know what season 1's been a hit, right? And we know we're going to get season 2. We don't know exactly when we're going to get it, but the next time Dragon Reviewed is going to be on, it's probably going to be potentially the first drop of season 2. My guesstimate, and it is just a guesstimate, is probably we'll be looking at maybe roughly the same time next year. If it's filming just now, some Amazon reps have seen a few episodes. We know that Lord of the Rings, which is even bigger, money being spent on that than Wheel of Time, is before that period of time. My guess is that we're trying to get it out for kind of the same time next year, running into that Christmas period. Anyway, so I'd asked you guys I'd sent you guys a message and I'd asked you to have a think about something for this particular episode, and that was, as people who haven't read the books, you've only saw season 1. I would say you liked some of it, other things you didn't like so much. What does season 2 need to do to keep you guys hooked going forward? What do you want from, not what you think necessarily will happen, what do you want to see from season 2? Because you don't know the story, so you can be speculation wild.
I guess I'll go first. I guess for one, I would like I'd like them to get together again instead of being all split up. So sometime maybe in the middle of season 2. Yeah.
So you're okay with them being split up as long as they get back together at times?
Well, because they've already done it, so I can't. I mean, it's already happened. I can't do anything about it. But
sucks for you, because book two is called They're Split Up. I don't know. I'm just guessing because that seems to be what's happening.
But you look at the Empire Strikes Back way of doing a sequel.
Yeah,
they do tend to split the main characters up a lot in book 2, don't they? Book 2 or film 2 or something like that. So
yeah, because it's already happening. Yeah, so it's like. I don't know why, because someone needs to keep an eye on Rand. What the hell's happening with Matt? Like, he obviously needs someone to babysit him as well. So yeah, just I'm hoping that they gather together again. I'm hoping Moraine gets her connection back soon.
She gets the force back, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously I want to know who the hell are the people in the very end. Like, what are y'all about?
America.
Oh, those people, boat people.
The boat people.
Exactly.
They're just really into surfing.
They're just yelled at for saying boat people. Been cruising
That's gonna offend
someone, I know it.
Looking for the best waves they can find, and they're just them just like testing it so they can go and just shred the place up. That's it. Yeah, obviously, I think you'll find out more about them in season 2. Well, yeah, I don't know. My guess would be yes. It's hard to say because I'm not sure what they're going to do in terms of. I think they're going to squish book 2 and 3 together like that. Whether they do it so that like it's all mixed together, or they do it kind of like book 2 for the first half of the season and book 3 for the second half of the season, I'm not sure.
It'll probably an amalgamation of it. Try to move things where they're like, oh well, the event F really should come after D, but it doesn't necessarily have to come after F. We could put it right after D and then go E, F, A, H. Like they could do stuff like that.
That's it, and it's hard to say exactly how that's going to work. I mean, I know there's a few fans I've read about that have just theorised on what they might do, but I mean, I'm certainly not getting into that in a non-spoiler kind of thing. What about you, Kyle? Anything that stands out to you? I want this.
So I really want more split. Not, and I get why Christine doesn't want it, but you kind of told us that
different things.
Yeah, you kind of told us that they weren't really supposed to spend, as much time apart as we saw, or something like that, or. Like the
I
walk
said in the finale
together was
they were
more
all together in that finale. They weren't banned
as
weren't
well.
on their own. They were together.
So, but you got to have character progression, and in order for that, you got to be challenged, which means you have to send people off with to face their weaknesses and hone those against the challenges. This is kind of like what Cam talked about happens in sequel books or second acts of a hero's like journey and stuff like that. But more than anything, I need it from just a pure story aspect, because you did a big ensemble cast. We can see where you probably had some more character stuff you wanted to do, but pandemic cuts, personnel, whatever the case may be, kind of hindered that. So at this point, I need some character development for Rand especially, because he's very cardboard, very 2D right now. I need some if you're gonna have these love stories and stuff, whether they're book accurate or not, you need to start actually putting effort into that. Otherwise, it just feels like a tack on. And I mean, I barely handle romance in my own house. I'm lucky she's just real chill now. But I'm not a big romantic film type person. Love stories have to have to really be done well for me to even. It'll either be or it'll be gross. This is awful, like Jane and Thor and both of their movies.
I mean,
just awful.
Book-wise, I would say there is romances in the book. Certainly, it's a long book series. It would probably be weird not to, actually. You spend 14 books with these people. But I never, apart from a couple of small things, I wouldn't say that was necessarily the focus.
That's what I'm saying. If they're gonna do it, you need to do it right.
It's not really about that. And people that are in relationships don't always get to spend all their time together, potentially as well, and so
I've been to war. I know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I didn't have to go fight something called a dragon or a dark one, but
something, you've got duties. You're going to have to kind of go where you're saying and all that sort of stuff, and different people have got different duties to kind of perform or whatever. as I wonder if this is a phrase that they'll use at some point in one of the season 2. It's a famous saying that one of the characters says to the other. What is it? Death is lighter than a feather. Duty is heavier than a mountain. And I'm kind of surprised they haven't mentioned that at all. And
that's a good one.
That's a good line, isn't it? Yeah. And
I like that one.
Yeah, that at some point, but I kind of think the situation where you would have these people say that hasn't maybe come up yet. So it's something I'm kind of hoping to see some relationships that maybe didn't evolve as much in season 1, kind of getting a bit of room to grow in season 2, if that makes sense. For me, because there's definitely been some book 2 stuff, like the whole Pad and Fane going away with the horn, and that's kind of really book 2. So they've kind of already cut out the start of book 2, if you like, to kind of flood right into it. But there's some aspects I definitely don't want them to miss out on. Anything else, Kel?
Nah, man. I think that's it. That's it. Man, I really like that saying, because there's those times where you're like, it's hot and I'm taking this ACH off, and honestly, if someone's got a shot lined up, I don't give a fuck. And you do until the start. Put your goddamn helmet on. You're like, yeah, what? Fucking guys had a moment. Didn't take it. Now I'm gonna fucking nah. I mean, no, I'm kind of joking around about it, but it is it's a man, that's one of those things where I don't think the average person could hear that, and I don't think they could quite understand what it's like to literally be that. You're not wanting to die. No. You're just like, if it happens.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing so tired
because I'm laughing. Staying alive is not as important as what you're fighting for.
And the duty being as heavy as a
for a reason.
And I have grand conflict of feelings on, or my feelings are not conflicted, but my feelings conflict with the mission in Iraq. But Afghanistan, at least when I was there, we were there for too damn long. But at least the initial mission had a valid purpose, a valid reason.
But I guess
it was just
get to choose
done
that,
wrong. But no, and at the end of the day, my duty was to my fellow soldiers. My men and women to my left. In my squad or my team, my subordinates, and then my superiors, because them getting to do their job allows me to do my job and get home, and that type of sense of duty goes beyond to where I think
Robert Jordan wrote that because he's a Vietnam vet. So he had.
I was going to ask if it was Jordan or Sanderson that wrote it, and Vietnam. I could see someone having Jordan's that same exact
Vietnam vet, and he's talked about how the person he was in Vietnam had to be left there, because that person can't function in a real world, and he's talked about these kind of things before, and you get a lot of that. Sometimes the pointlessness, the way people get caught up in events that are too big for them to understand, but they get the shitty end anyway because they're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the kind of weight that falls upon the people that really have all the decisions to make and are trying to do the right thing, and somehow it just always blows up in your face. And that's one of the things I think he was very, very good at. That and the actual battles themselves. He's far better on than, say, the romances, right? So, and I've said this to you guys before, sometimes it's just like, this character now loves this character. Like, oh, wait. So, why did that happen? I'm not going to say any, but there's once or twice this happens in the book. One of them is Uneven Land, which we can talk about. And it's like, just at some point there, and each other, and I'm like, did I like days out and miss something in an
I've done that reading before. Wait, what?
it's not. It's because it's kind of off screen, you know. So the idea is, well, just because you didn't see all this shit happening off screen, it did happen, you know, and that's okay. You get your head around that at first, but you know, that's not always the answer. So I think the show have tried to put that in, but that, you know, by adding in the silly love triangle that they did with Egwin, Perrin, and Rand, you know,
which they seem like they might be teasing to continue in season 2.
Yeah, I don't know. There was some comments that the showrunner made about you know, these people will still have a relationship, and I'm like, that's kind of fine, but I feel like Egwin put an end to that when she said to Rand, of course there's nothing between us, and Perrin said to her, are we all right? She's like, we'll always be all right. It was like friend zone, you know, for me.
Yeah.
Just leave it there. Don't come back to it, you know. I just don't see it.
Please leave it there.
Yeah, like there's a bond there, but it doesn't have to be romantic.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, exactly. You know, you can be, I mean, absolutely, book Perrin would die for Egwin, you know, if it came to it. She's his friend, they grew up together, you know, absolutely, you know, they're friends. You would jump into a burning fire and save her in a second. Doesn't have to be anything between them, no.
That's why I said that comment like a while back, like when they were captured together, where it's like, you know, he'd be a great warder, because, you know, they've got that bond already. You know, I thought that would be kind of cool if they did that, you know, because he's got a special power. And
but then I suppose before he found out he was his Dragon Reborn, Rand would have been a good warder as well, because you can actually marry a warder, you know. So she could have been a green, you know, for example, or well, I mean, it doesn't. Maybe as long as she doesn't pick red, she'd be all right with kind of taking on a husband. I suppose the blue don't really kind of marry their warders, but you know. I'm sure it's not just the Greens that do that, but certainly it's them that are the only ones that have more than one. But you know, she could do something like that. So you know, you can see how it could go that way. But obviously, I ain't talking. You never know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's, in terms of season 2, I think we can agree then, right, that we're saying, okay, if you're going to have romance, you've got romance, but, you know, just don't ham it up as much and cut out the romance that you don't need, like the silly romance, the extras that have been added in that we don't need, because it's not particularly making the story any better. Would everybody agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So we want to see more of the Sanshan in season 2. We kind of have a split of opinion between you two, because Christine, you kind of want to see the cast come back together, and Kel wants to see them split up with their own stories.
Yeah, they don't have to be there the whole time, but it's like
they do need some time together.
So what you're saying is maybe you're okay with them splitting up if they come back round again and connect, kind of like Star Wars, where they split up but they come back together at the end, that kind of thing.
Like maybe like in the middle of the season,
right?
And then. I mean, they could split up again. Like, I don't really know what's going to happen, but it's like y'all need to get together, like, you know.
But I mean, what's the story? I mean, if you think about, like, let's say the 5 characters, right? I won't include Moiraine and Lan in this. So if we start off with Rand, what do you think Rand's going to do now? What's his next step? Boom. Any guesses?
I don't know. He's just wandering out all by himself, and I don't know. Maybe he's gonna rely on his dreams, try to figure stuff out. Even though I don't think that's a good idea, because it's like you don't know anything really. It was great with Moiraine because she's got knowledge, so she could help out. And it's like, oh well, you know, I feel this, I feel the madness. I need to go, and it's just like, no, someone needs to keep you in check.
Yeah, I mean that's a reasonable.
His name is Tom.
You think so? So is this a prediction that Tom is going to show up to keep Rand in check?
If I were going to guess anyone,
I mean, so we don't think Tom's dead then?
I said it was a real potential that he was still alive
at the time,
before, but yeah, it's one of two things. Rand's going to be taken under the wing, so to speak, of either to Tom, who is questionable, or potentially the guy he knows a bit, Pat and Fane, might track him down and try to lead him down a path. But I do think you're going to see Rand out trying to discover more about the symbols and the Dark One and yada yada. And then I think then there he's going to meet one of those two and kind of go on some sort of training or mentorship montage, or being led astray montage type deal. Not that there'll be an actual montage, but that type of event.
So that's kind of where we think Rand's going. What about the two girls, Nynaeve and Egwene? Where's their next step?
I hope that they get some training at the White Tower.
Right.
That's what I think as well.
That's where you think they're both headed to the White Tower. Okay, that kind of can't really.
And
anything within the show to argue against that with. Okay.
Yeah, the Perrin becoming a warder thing is a real potential. I honestly don't know what they'll do. Oh. See, that's what makes me think that the romance thing, it was meant to be bigger or will be bigger, because it kind of makes sense to go, and they added that in so weird, and they could have almost cut that scene out or cut around it, and removed the questioning that we're having right now. But knowing that a lot of executives sit there, and this is a Sony project, it's a really good idea. And yeah, I can see them
juicy drama.
I can see them. We need more romance. Give us a love triangle.
I fucking
women love that.
Small run. Studio execs, where the fuck did they get these guys from? Where did they get these guys who are paid so much money to make these decisions, but they're not movie fans because they make such bad decisions? It just happens so often. Studio interferes. I mean, occasionally there are examples somebody could feel, actually, here's an example of when a studio interfered that was better. Okay, I know it exists. But most of the time when the studio interfere, they fuck it up. Why would you not learn from that and go, wait a minute, I keep fucking this up. Maybe if I just stay the fuck quiet, because they come in.
They don't. They just look at the bottom dollar, and as long as the movie turned a profit, that's all that matters.
Well, when you're speaking what worries me about Wheel of Time, because it's been successful. So my worry is, well, all the stuff we told you to do in season 1 must have worked. So let's have more of that.
I think enough.
More.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Like that's why I'm saying, like, I can see Perrin going with them. With them as well.
Like with what we're doing right now, that's what's great about today, is we can give them feedback and you can get it for free.
Yeah,
on YouTube.
That's absolutely. I mean, if anybody wants to, let's see what people really thought. There's just so many ways that they can go and find that. There are fan forums. There's social media. You've got stuff like Reddit, that I've got specific subreddits where, I talk to people on the Wheel of Time subreddit, the book spoilers, because that's where we can get right into all the, the people that have read all the books, and it's good to talk to people like that about maybe some of the concerns you have or the things that you like, or defending some of the choices that they did as well. And they just really have to kind of plug into that and see that, not everyone, there's some people that say, I hated it right from the start and I will never watch season 2 again. I think somebody did a poll on Reddit the other day, and it was, so are you coming back for season 2 or not? And the vast majority of people, whether they were show watchers or brand new, or whether they were book readers, were saying, I'll come back, but I kind of hope it's better. That was the kind of option they were taking. There was very few that say, like, no, I'm done with it. I'm never coming back for season 2. So you have to they're a kind of minority, if you like, but when the majority are saying, look, I gave you a series a chance, but there's some shit that we just want you to improve, I think you absolutely have to try and take that feedback into account.
Yeah, and then there's also, where you people that have given up, they can hear from others where it's like, actually season 2 was worth it, you should watch it, and they can just change their mind.
Yeah.
You know, if done right. So
that's it. I think if season 2 is better than season 1, you can kind of gloss over a lot of the problems that the original show had.
And you said that the first
troubles.
book was kind of rough. So
it is.
You know, book readers can look at that and be like, yeah, well, maybe season 2 will be better, just like in the books where book 2.
I think that's my point of view at the moment. I'm sitting kind of crossing my fingers, hoping that season 2 is better. And I agree with what Kyle said as well. I think we need to spend more time with Rand, because I think that first book being so much from his point of view, we don't really miss a lot of scenes with Rand, but we don't really get what he's thinking about and all the things. And there's a lot of what makes up Rand that we haven't really explored yet, that we could have within the first book. So I hope we kind of get to some of that in book 2, and certain relationships that he starts to build with different characters. I do want to see that, and that's probably the most important thing for me in season 2 is, that we really, as an audience, we get to kind of, I wouldn't say necessarily fall in love with Rand as a character, but understand him as a character, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Anything else we want to talk about before we say goodbye for the long haul until season 2 comes in, guys?
I don't think so. It's been fun. Thanks to everyone that watched us all season long. I hope you do check out the new Genreverse podcast YouTube channel. We will be there probably, like Cam said, next year. In the meantime, do follow at LRM_exclusive and at the Genreverse on Twitter. Stay subscribed to the LRM YouTube channel. All those great celebrity interviews are still going to go up there, and of course all the other great podcasts for Genreverse Podcast Network available wherever you get your shows from. Google, Spotify. We got great shows like Marvel Multiverse Mayhem. Cantina's doing Cantina reviews on Book of Boba Fett right now. Anime-Versal just did like the most adorable as fuck anime movie I've ever seen. Words bubble up like soda pop. Beautiful summer coming of age, like man, it hits dealing with anyways, you got to watch that review. It's a great movie. Check all that out.
Great. And I suppose all that's left to say from me is thanks for watching the Dragon Reviewed, and if the wheel wills it to be so, we will be back for the Dragon Reviewed season 2 along with the Wheel of Time season 2. Thanks for watching. Bye.